I'm Gary Wood, the organizer of the Wednesday night Fat Ass Road Racing Team iRacing League. We're often referred to as the Farrt League. We're presented by HIP Motorsports. HIP, it's how I play. In this video, we're going to cover the following topics. What is the Farrt League? What are the rules and expectations? How do we deal with penalties and grievances? How are the iRacing X points handled? How do we score the league? And what can you expect from the league organization? So what's the Farrt League all about? It's about racing for fun. And for the people involved, having fun means having close, hard-fought, clean competition. Using a variety of different cars, racing on different tracks, using different race formats. And it's a driver series, so we use fixed car setups. We have 3 driver classes, so you'll always have someone at your level to race with. And we respect each other, both on track and off. And we do that by following standard racing rules, which we'll get into in just a second. Farrt League rules fall into different categories. There's a mandatory setup we want you to have for your sim. We'll talk about passing on track, re-entering the track, blocking and weaving, blue flag driving, and the use of radios. Let's get into it. We want to start by showing you just how difficult it is to see during an iRace. Here's an orange car that we were out braking into this corner, and we're pretty sure we've got him beat. Can't see him, but he's there, and he comes back into play. This gives us a good example of poor visibility in sim racing. We've got to deal with that in the rules. We deal with the lack of visibility by having mandatory setups that we ask you to use when you're racing in the Farrt League. First off, you have to use the iRacing relative box. We'll talk about it. You should have your spotter turned on, and you should use a headset with a microphone so that you can communicate. We're going to talk about the use of the relative box, which is mandatory in the league. That box is the little black box that's usually found in the lower right-hand corner and shows where you and your nearby competitors are on track. But you should also be able to see competitors in your mirror, and if you've got it set up, your spotter should have verbiage that you can see. The use of the relative box is so important, I'm going to take a minute here to describe how to understand it. You will always be shown in yellow font. If people shown above you are ahead of you on track, people shown below you are behind you on track. If they're in white font, they mean that they're your direct competitors on the same lap as you. If they're in blue font, it means they're a lap behind you. And if they're in red font, it means they're ahead of you by at least a lap, or in the case if you have a red driver behind you, it means they're within a second and a half of you, and you will be getting a blue flag. We'll talk about blue flag driving later, but it really means that you must let that driver by within the lap from getting that blue flag in the first place. Turning the spotter on is pretty easy in iRacing. First, you start by going to the options page. Click the sound button and click on the enable spotter box so you can turn your spotter on. You can have them speak to you on any speaker you want, and I recommend you have both voice and text shown. Set it at high chattiness so you hear everything that's going on around you. While we're here, we'll show you how to hear from your other drivers by clicking the enable voice chat, and talk to the other drivers by setting up a button on your steering wheel for push to talk. Very important that you're able to do this so you can talk to and hear from all of the drivers in the race. And of course you do that by having a headset with a microphone, and here IndyCar racer Tony Kanaan is focusing on his driving, and you can see that he has a headset with a microphone, and you should too. In the Farrt League, We try to pass so as to avoid contact, but this is what often happens in the league. The red and black car attempting to outbrake doesn't get far enough alongside and makes contact. This would result in a penalty. In the Farrt League, we believe that the passer and the person being passed share responsibility for the pass being clean. However, it is the person doing the passing that has the primary responsibility. If they aren't far enough alongside, they should not make the pass. How far is it that they should be alongside? In this case, the white car is trying to pass the green one, and they're not alongside far enough, so the pass should not happen. Even if they have a slight overlap at the rear, this should not become a pass. Only when they get far enough alongside that the front of their car is even with the driver of the car they're trying to pass should a pass occur. In this case, the driver of the green car being passed should give room to allow the pass to happen without contact. So let's see how this plays out in real time. The white car got far enough alongside so the green car left them room and the pass was completed without contact. This is the kind of racing we need to see in the Farrt League. Here's another example where the white car outbrakes the green, who realizes they're there, leaves enough room, no contact. Here's another example. In this case, the orange and white are racing on the straight, make slight contact, but slow each other up enough so the red and black car can get alongside the orange, but not the white. They miss their braking point and cause an accident. In this case, the red and black car would receive a penalty. This is an example of a driver making a good decision about passing. The white car is faster than the orange and wants to pass, and gets an excellent run out of this corner, but doesn't quite get alongside enough, so backs out by letting off the gas. This is the kind of racing that we want to see in the Farrt League. No matter how good you are, you're going to go off track at some point. Let's talk about re-entering the track once you go off. In this case, the green car has gone too wide, is off track, comes back on in front of a pack, causing a multiple car accident. From in-car, you can see they have no chance to avoid that accident, and the result is multiple cars getting involved in an incident that should have been avoided. Here's an example of how re-entry should be done. The orange car here goes off track and hits the wall, but puts on the brakes to stop themselves from going back on the track until the pack clears. Then when there's a gap, they re-enter effectively and safely. Looking at that in-car, you can see the orange car driver hits the wall, but really puts on the brakes and avoids going back on track so that there's enough room for the others to get by. And they use the following gap to get back on track safely. This is the way it should be done. In the Farrt League, blocking and weaving is unacceptable. Here the white car is weaving in front of the orange to prevent it going by. Usually this results in a bad outcome for somebody, and in this case the orange driver doesn't drive well either and takes the white car off as they are frustrated. None of this is good driving in the Farrt League. In this clip in car, you can see that the white car is blatantly blocking. What you can do in the league on a straightaway only is weave to try and break a aerodynamic toe, but you're only allowed to make one move in the braking zone of a corner, and that's it. This case, both drivers would have gotten a penalty. An important factor in the Farrt League is knowing how to drive when you're given a blue flag. Blue flag means that you have a faster car coming up to lap you, and you need to let it by within a lap of getting this blue flag signal. You'll know they're there because you can see them in your mirror, and they're listed on your black box as well. Be sure you know how to do this effectively, because we do have people of all different skill levels. This clip shows the correct procedure to allow yourself to be lapped by faster cars. You can see the blue flag is being shown, and on the relative box there's 2 cars within a second and a half of this car. So as you enter the straight, you stay on your line, you let off the gas just a little bit so it's easier for them to get by, and then you get back on the gas, fall in behind, and carry on with your race. Use of the iRacing radio is very important, but there's a couple of things you need to remember. First, it's not a chat line. You can't talk over each other. Second, you need to keep it clear for urgent messages like passing right, passing left. And if you do make a mistake and make contact with someone, it's good to apologize as soon as you can so they know that it's not an intentional contact. And finally, and most importantly, the league has zero tolerance, zero, for anyone who issues personal slurs to another driver. Just do not do that. We don't want to give penalties in the league, but if there's a significant impact on a driver's race, they will be given out. They will result from one driver placing a grievance against another's actions during the race. Keep in mind, the organizer doesn't search through the race to find these incidents. In that sense, we're self-policing. And for sure, we do not condone intentional contact. It is not tolerated and will result in significant penalty. So what are these grievances and how do you place one? Well, every driver has the right to protest the actions of another driver. In the Farrt League, we call that a grievance. You do so in writing to the organizer no later than noon on the Thursday following the event. Anything provided later than that will not be considered. You need to write down who the other driver was, what occurred, and what lap and corner it occurred on. The organizer keeps a replay of every event, will review it and issue a response to the grievance and a penalty to both parties. Penalties are negative points in the race. The more grievous the incident, the higher the penalty points. The person receiving the penalties can appeal once, and if they do, the organizer will involve additional experienced iRacers to review the situation and come up with a final decision. The appeal decision is final. When racing in iRacing, you can accumulate incident X points, which are automatic and caused by jump starts, driving off track, contact with anything, speeding in the pits, not obeying a black flag that you're given, loss of control of your car, cutting a corner. In the Farrt League, we deal with it like this. 12 X's accumulated during a race will yield you a black flag. You must serve as a drive-through penalty. Drive through the pit lane at pit speed, don't stop. Each race has a maximum number of X's identified, and if you reach that number, you will be disqualified from that event. We score the Farrt League so that we can have fun with awards at the end of the season. Here's how we do it. We use this grid to score each and every driver and each and every event. Let me describe it. It starts by giving you points for your finishing position. 40 for first, 39 for second, and 1 less for each subsequent position. But you can gain bonus points too. If in the race you finish the race with 0 incident points, you can get 2 points. This driver did not. However, if you have the fewest incident points in your driver class, you will receive 1 point, as this driver did. He was also the biggest mover, meaning that he gained the most positions from his starting position than anybody else in the race. That's worth 2 bonus points. He also set the fastest lap in his driving class, 1 point. He won his class, 1 point. He was not the overall winner, but had he been, he would have gotten an additional point. And in this case, he got no penalty points. If he had, they would have shown as negative numbers here. When you add all this together, you have the number of points that driver scored for this event. This is how the scores are shown and accumulated during the year. This is the one I just showed, and you can see how it's demonstrated here. You read this by looking at the driver class: gold class, silver, and bronze. First place in bronze, first place in silver, first place in gold. What happens is we accumulate all the scores for the year. In this case, 6 races were dropped. The pink color shows the races that were dropped. This is the total of all races, and this is the net result. The one that wins the championship for Eric last year by 2 points from James. So the scores are maintained by the league organization, and that is me, Gary Wood. You can reach me at the OTA Discord channel as GWoody27. You can expect on every Monday that there'll be a subreg published on Discord on that channel that shows what the details of the upcoming events are. And those events will be set up in iRacing. So go to the league in iRacing, click on the event that's set up, and you'll be able to practice in the exact conditions of that week's race. On Thursdays, the scores will be published as a preliminary result on Discord, and they'll become final once any grievances are resolved. Here's an example of the supplemental regulation and how to read it. Let me get into it. On Wednesday, the 15th of September at 7:30, there'll be a race for a Formula V car on the Mid-Ohio Short Circuit. The race format will be a sprint with 15 minutes of practice, followed by OTA qualifying, 3 laps done within 10 minutes, leaving a 35-minute race. The cars will be set to baseline setup and have 100% fuel, meaning they probably in this case won't need to have a pit stop. The race will start with a rolling start. The track will have 50% rubbered in. The conditions will be clear, 75 degrees, 50% RH, and a 3-mile-an-hour wind. It will start at 8:30 a.m. in sim time. There will be no full course yellows, only locals. And if you accumulate 12 X's, you will receive a drive-through penalty. If you accumulate 30, you'll be disqualified from the event. And black flags will not be cleared for any reason in this particular event. Later, at 8:30, it looks like the event will take place in the Watkins Glen Cup layout, and the details have yet to be defined. Look for this every Monday morning. You know, the league wouldn't happen without our sponsors, so let's thank them, starting with HIP Motorsports, who are the presenting sponsor, followed by Vern Houghton Rust Control. Thanks, James. OTA lets us use their Discord channel and encourages people to join our league. Thank you, OTA. Kelly Smith is an enthusiast who wants to support the league as a sponsor. Thank you, Kelly. So now you know everything you need to get ready to start in the iRacing League. So go, 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 and enjoy yourself racing with us in the Farrt iRacing Wednesday Night League. And don't forget, in the Farrt League, we race for fun. Enjoy yourself, everyone.